Almost 3 years ago on this channel, I uploaded a video where I watched classic old school George Strait TV commercials from the 1980s and 1990s, and to this day that remains one of the most popular videos I have ever uploaded to this channel. And I loved the idea so much that I actually made 3 more successive videos in which I watched classic TV commercials from the 1980s and 1990s featuring other country music stars from that era. Now, one of the biggest topics online and sort of socially just in the world over the past year has been the development of artificial intelligence technology, both in terms of writing and in terms of image creation. And starting a year ago, the genre of trying to create crazy pictures and even videos with various random artificial intelligence prompts plugged into these image generation platforms exploded in popularity, although recently it kind of had died off. I hadn't heard much about that until, for whatever reason, this past week, I believe with the launch of Bing, the search engine's new AI image generator, the genre of content of AI image generation has exploded yet again. And when I saw this outgrowth, the sudden rebirth of AI image generation content and memes online, I thought, what if I was to try to recreate some of those classic 1990s and 1980s country music commercials in Bing AI image generation? Because as I'm sure you've noticed before, when it comes to these AI image generation software platforms, whatever you want to call them, it seems like there are 2 categories of the quality of the images. It's either nightmare fuel or it's shockingly and eerily accurate, so much so that you're like, how is this even possible for a random image aggregator software to produce something this good in 15 seconds? And so that is what we will be doing in today's video. We will be trying to recreate some of those same commercials that I reacted to already in those videos from a couple years ago, and also throwing in a few random ideas just for fun. Now, I did run a few tests before filming this video, and so I actually have some samples of some prompts that I already tried before we get into the live reaction that you're about to see. Now, one of the most iconic country music ad campaigns of the 1990s was, of course, Alan Jackson's Ford truck sponsorship.
Ford Country, look at that truck.
One thing that is very, very weird about Bing AI, which is the platform that I am using in this video, and I used in the images you're about to see, is for some reason, specifically, George Strait and Alan Jackson cannot be replicated by this software. I have no idea why. As you're about to see, it actually does have a knack for reproducing other country singers of this era, but specifically George Strait and Alan Jackson, it can't give you them, as you're about to see. So I typed in the prompt, Alan Jackson in a 1990s pickup truck advertisement, and this is one of the images I got. That's not Alan Jackson. This is the love child of Patrick Swayze and Michael Jackson, and it says Alan Jackson, I can't pronounce that word because it sounds too similar to a certain not politically correct slur, right? But this is what I'm talking about. As you can see, this is clearly not Alan Jackson, and despite the fact that the art style is actually pretty accurate to the time, this does kind of look like a real person that could exist, and the pickup truck even looks pretty realistic for the time. This obviously is not Alan Jackson, doesn't look really anything like him, and so it's kind of bizarre that one of the most well-known and well-recognized country singers of this era can't be replicated by this software. So I did try again, and this gave me a slightly more accurate result. At least it's a guy wearing a cowboy hat with a mullet with a mustache. This does look more like Alan Jackson, but a brunette version, and I like how in the background he's like posing on the hood of the truck, and in the background like the windshield wipers are just randomly on fire. Like it has this kind of twisted comedic value. Like, what if this was a commercial where like all of a sudden the truck just randomly caught fire? So this was pretty funny. But then I did try a few more random prompts. For example, Billy Ray Cyrus in a 1990s pickup truck ad. This actually does look a lot like him. The hair isn't perfect, but it does have like the mullet. Whoever this random guy in the background is also kind of looks like him. The truck looks realistic, and I would say this does look a lot like Billy Ray Cyrus. So for some reason, it was able to give me a realistic Billy Ray Cyrus, but not Alan Jackson. But I kept on going with my random ideas, inserting random singers into random situations, and this was how I got the idea to make this into a video. Look at this. Tim McGraw in a tractor advertisement. This looks a lot like Tim McGraw, and it even says right here in the logo, Tim McGraw. Like, this is actually really good. And then look at this one. That looks almost identical to Tim McGraw in real life. It even got the style of cowboy hat correct. Like, this is actually really surprising. Then I said, let's do Clint Black in a 1990s toothpaste ad, and it gave me this nightmare fuel. Now, I will say the hat is correct, the hair is correct for the era, even the facial structure is kind of correct, but Clint Black does not have teeth like this. This is like nightmarishly, demonically correct, sharp teeth. Imagine if this sleep paralysis demon popped up by your bed and tried to tell you to buy this Chunch brand toothpaste. That would be scary. This isn't Clint Black. This is some scary, freakish entity. Then I said, let's try Randy Travis in a 1980s video game ad, and it didn't really give me anything good aside from this. Now, this doesn't look like Randy Travis, really, but this is a cool picture. Like, the art style is great for the era. It does look like, you know, what you might see on like a 1980s Teen Idol album cover. So honestly, even though this doesn't look like Randy Travis and it's not specifically a video game advertisement, this is still a pretty cool picture. But the most impressive prompt that I tried out before filming this video was very specific and kind of weird, but the product, as you will see, is downright impressive. The prompt was Kenny Chesney in a 1990s water park advertisement. And I chose that because, you know, Kenny Chesney started out as, you know, a more traditional country singer, but then morphed into, you know, a Jimmy Buffett 2.0. So I said, let's just put Kenny Chesney at a water park. And I've got 3 pictures that it gave me. Look at this one. Like, that looks like Kenny Chesney. Like, this is an outfit he would wear. This looks like a younger version of him. You have the freakish number of hands, and like, this is creepy in the background. Like, this is obviously nightmare fuel. But in terms of the person in the center, this looks like Kenny Chesney. Here's picture number 2. Even better. He's got his shirt off, sunglasses on, just chilling at the beach. You have these nightmarish Alice in Wonderland looking creatures in the background, but ignore that. Then you have this one, this third one, which literally could be an album cover. Like, this is surprisingly good. And then on the second picture, I forgot to say, it literally drew up a logo, Kenny Chesney Water Park. It does have an extra E in Kenny, but this is shockingly good. Surprisingly good. Like, when the image generator spat this out back at me, I was like floored. You know, for such a random and specific prompt, it really did an impressive job. So this was when I decided I have to make this into a full video. So I hope y'all enjoy. Make sure to like and subscribe. Let's get into the main segment. All right, ladies and gentlemen, so here I am in the Bing AI image creator. As you can see, I've got 20 boost credits, so these pictures should generate pretty quickly. So what we're gonna do here is see how well we can recreate some of the commercials that I've reacted to in previous episodes of the series, just in AI. We'll see if the AI does a better job than what happened in real life, or if, you know, it's typical AI nightmare fuel. We'll do a few country singers who did not appear in that commercial series, but also who I would like to see recreated in AI. So first we will start with, of course, George Strait, who had an entire episode dedicated to him. For some reason, the AI just doesn't seem to know what George Strait, one of the most iconic country singers ever, looks like. I don't get it. Maybe things have changed over the past couple days, but we'll see. So of course, one of George Strait's earlier endorsements earlier in his career was Bud Light.
The music of George Strait, brought to you by Bud Light.
So we are going to just do George Strait in a 1980s beer advertisement. So it's going to give us 3 to 4 pictures, and let's see how it does. Let's see if it finally understands what George Strait looks like. Okay, so here are the 4 pictures it's given us, and, you know, I would say it's actually somewhat more accurate. Look, it says George Strait beer. It looks better than the first ones that I did. This actually looks like him if George Strait was Latino. If George Strait was Latino, this would be accurate. It's still off somewhat. It's getting slightly better, like with the facial structure, but it's still not perfect. This one probably looks the most like George Strait. Like this guy in the background, of course, you can't really see the details on his face. Ironically, this guy in the background looks the most like George Strait. This actually does look like it says George Strait beer, though. So I would say that this one of the 4 is the best, but still not perfect. For whatever reason, Bing AI can't figure out how to recreate George Strait's face. But of course, beer ads were not the only thing George Strait was doing at his peak. He also had that advertisement for Wrangler jeans.
Wherever you find country music, you'll find Wrangler, the Western original.
So let's just do George Strait in a 1980s jeans advertisement. Okay, it's once again giving us 4 pictures. And again, who is this guy? This guy is not George Strait. Whoever this person is, it's not George Strait. I don't know why there's 3 people as well. I don't know why the middle guy is sitting like that either. At least the jeans look good. Like, I will say the clothes and the belt buckles look really good. It's just that this person is not George Strait. and for some reason Bing AI keeps on giving me this dude who looks similar to George Strait. Like, this could be George Strait's cousin, and this actually does look really good. Like, the art style and like the outfit and everything looks fantastic. The filter is really good. The outfit is like accurate to the era, but this just isn't George Strait. Like, this person that they keep on giving me always looks like slightly younger than George Strait actually was at this era. But I mean, like, in terms of the art style, this actually is impressive. Like, I mean, look at this. You have the figure in the front, then you have this awesome background. Whoever this guy is over here, you have like, you know, whatever his quote would be, talking about how good the jeans are. But like, the art style itself is super impressive. It looks like, you know, a 1980s illustrated, you know, magazine ad. It's just that for whatever reason, Bing AI can't recreate a photorealistic George Strait. But, you know, I'll give it points at least for, you know, the really impressive and accurate art style. Okay, so next up, we are going to retry Alan Jackson. And of course, we are going to be inspired by his 1990s Ford truck ad campaign.
Crazy about a Ford truck. Lord, I'm crazy about a Ford truck.
And as I showed you in the beginning of this video, Bing AI is even worse at recreating Alan Jackson than it is George Strait. So we'll see. We'll give it another try. Alan Jackson in a 1990s pickup truck advertisement. And let's just see what it does. We do have enough credits to, you know, give it a few extra tries based on what else I want to do. So if it's really, really bad the first time, we will give it a second try, but my hopes are not very high. For whatever reason, Bing AI just cannot recreate Alan Jackson and George Strait, and it's kind of funny. Okay, again, yes, this is exactly what I'm talking about. Who is this guy? This looks like Steve Zahn. So whenever I've asked it to do an Alan Jackson AI render, it gives me like Patrick Swayze, Michael Jackson, Love Children, and then Steve Zahn. Like, I don't understand how Bing AI can't figure out who Alan Jackson is. Although this is pretty cool. Like, it's got like, you know, the accurate to the era pickup truck in the back. That looks really good. You've got like an Alan Jackson like cassette tape here. This is cool, but this isn't Alan Jackson. Like, this is Michael J. Fox. It gave me Michael J. Fox and Steve Zahn instead of Alan Jackson. What's going on? Okay, we will give it one more try, then we're gonna move on. Alan Jackson in a 90s pickup truck advertisement. You have to be able to figure out what Alan Jackson looks like at some point. He's one of the most famous male country singers of all time. Okay, we might have finally made some progress. So this first one, the truck looks pretty cool, that goofy print on the side. This looks kind of like Tracy Lawrence meets Jason Newsted from Metallica. I don't know who this guy in the background is. That horse is horrifying. What the heck? And then he has two belt buckles, but one of the buckles is his hand. So that's kind of creepy. But then this one, this kind of looks like him. This is like if Alan Jackson and Tracy Lawrence had a kid. It does look kind of more like Tracy Lawrence than Alan Jackson, but at least it got the mullet and the mustache correct. That's what I was looking for. For whatever reason, in the past, as you guys could see, it couldn't even recreate the mullet and mustache. So this is at least somewhat more accurate. I'll give it points for this one. This is actually pretty decent. So it took a while. We finally got a decent Alan Jackson recreation. I'm satisfied with that for now. Now we have to recreate Randy Travis's Folgers coffee commercial.
The best part of waking up is Folgers in your cup.
So Randy Travis in a 1990s coffee commercial. Okay, yeah, this is not... Who is this guy? Someone tell me who this is, because it's not Randy Travis. I mean, it's so interesting because this is the same guy, so it recreated the same guy 3 times. It's just not Randy Travis. This guy in the back has a great outfit though, killer mullet on this guy here, but that's not Randy Travis. So next up, after that failed Randy Travis attempt, we're gonna try and recreate the very popular Garth Brooks McDonald's commercials.
Mr. Brooks, would you?
Sign it. It's here.
No, Trey Petine Turner.
What you want is what you get at McDonald's today.
It's my only Tina.
Oh my goodness, Garth put on some pounds. Okay, so this doesn't look like him. It just doesn't. This kind of does, actually. This looks like a modern Garth Brooks if he was a little bit younger and put on some more pounds and grew out his bangs. These are the Chris Gaines bangs. And wow, he's really, it is McDonald's, so at least it's accurate to that. I don't know what this hat is, but this is Garth Brooks if, you know, it was 30 years ago and he was much more hefty back in the day. Next up is one I'm going to be very interested to see because I'm going to try and render 2 specific people. I'm going to try and do Tim McGraw. We already did a pretty accurate Tim McGraw, as y'all saw in the little sample segment of stuff I did before recording this video, but I'm also going to add his wife, Faith Hill in there and see if Bing AI can give me a beer advertisement. Of course, calling back to Tim McGraw's Bud Light ad campaign.
There you go. Thanks. Hey, aren't you,
Yeah, I am.
Hey, everybody! It's Faith Hill's husband.
That features the both of them, Faith Hill and Tim McGraw, in a 1990s beer advertisement. Let's see if it gets Tim McGraw accurate again, and then let's see how accurate the Faith Hill is. It could get one or both of them, or it could get both of them totally wrong. We'll see. And wow, you know what? This is pretty good. I'm not gonna lie, this is actually kind of impressive. On the label it says Fifth Hill. That's kind of funny. Fifth Hill beer. But guys, look at this. This is so corny. He's got the shirt off. Ew. But it says Faith Light. But then, like, look at these. This is actually really good. Like, this is almost a photorealistic Tim McGraw. Faith looks decent. It did a decent job of rendering Faith. Of course, Tim McGraw's neck is bent at a super weird angle here, but like, I don't understand how the renderings of Tim McGraw, it even has the hat perfectly, like the style of cowboy hat that Tim wears. It's perfect. But then somehow it can't figure out what George Strait looks like. I don't get it, but this is actually impressive. So far, Bing AI is the best at rendering Tim McGraw by far. This is actually really impressive. And honestly, Faith Hill isn't that inaccurate either. So far, these are the best renders without a question. Then we're gonna call back to Reba McEntire's 1990s Frito commercial.
Okay, you seem like a nice girl.
Thanks.
Sure know Reba.
I know what I like. I like Frito.
Texas Grill.
I'm going to change it up a little bit because I know that Fritos are corn chips, but I feel like for whatever reason, let's just change it up a bit and say Reba McEntire in a 90s potato chip ad. Let's see if we can get Reba McEntire selling those Lays. The Tim McGraw and Faith Hill ones were downright impressive. Like, that sets such a high standard. Like, that was crazy. Tim McGraw almost looked completely real. And well, that kind of does look like Reba if she had some work done. So I mean, this one looks the best. It is Lay's, as I predicted. And, you know, it zoomed in a little too much, but, you know, the hair is, like, perfect. This is, like, late 80s Reba hair. That's actually kind of shockingly good as well. Although the teeth are a little too perfect, like the Clint Black toothpaste ad, so that's a little creepy. Perfect teeth Reba McEntire. But, you know what? Impressive as well. So it did a pretty good job of recreating Reba, not Alan Jackson and George Strait, though. I keep on going back to that, but to me that's just so astounding. But this is actually a pretty realistic Reba. Can't complain about this. Next up, we have one that I'm really excited about. So calling back to Johnny Cash in that 1990s Taco Bell commercial.
Where else you gonna get so many choices with just a little cash?
So we're gonna do Johnny Cash in a 1990s Mexican restaurant. Okay, so the next one I wanted to do was Johnny Cash in a Mexican restaurant advertisement because I wanted to do a callback to the Taco Bell commercial that he did. That was one of my favorite commercials in one of the videos I did. It gives me a content warning and the prompt has been blocked, I assume because it's worried about people making like stereotypical images based on Mexican culture and like, you know, their food and stuff like that. So I've tried all sorts of prompts and it's not working, so we're gonna have to skip over this one, unfortunately. So next, let's do Toby Keith, and we're gonna recreate that cell phone line minutes commercial or whatever it was that he did in the year 2000.
You know, you can't get much for a buck these days. Yeah, but you can get all your long-distance calls for just 99 cents. Get out of here. Yeah.
But we're gonna change it up slightly and say Toby Keith in a 1990s cell phone advertisement. This one should be fun. Well, the first one kind of looks like him, and it got the cell phone right. Like, that's, what, a Nokia? So, I mean, this kind of looks like him. Those are some cool shades. Good mullet. But then, these other two guys, this is not Toby Keith. This guy definitely could have been a 1990s country singer, but then this guy, I don't know who this guy is. So hey, 1 for 3 ain't that bad though. Another one of the ads was Clint Black in a Keebler fudge cookies commercial.
Mr. Clint Black, down here.
Ernie Keebler.
So we're gonna try and recreate that. Clint Black. And I'm not very specific, so we could get, you know, a pretty wide variety of results here. Let's see if it gives him those sinister, scary, perfect teeth again. And well, they are cookies, but this is not Clint Black. I don't know who this is supposed to be. That's a interesting mascot. Who's this dude in the back? Like, sometimes when I create these ads, it just like puts random people in the background as well. Clint Black never wore earrings as far as I know, so this definitely isn't Clint. Clink cookies. And then the cookie is like melting into his chin. And then this also doesn't really look like him. Conky, is that what it says in the background? Conkies? That's so silly, man. So Clint Black in a cookie commercial. This one's a fail. And so the last of the advertisements that I want to try and recreate before I move on to just creating my own stuff is Aaron Tippin in that Polaroid camera commercial.
Sorry, Sean, I didn't mean to steal your ride. I was just letting everybody know about the Polaroid Captiva photo fake-out sweepstakes.
Aaron Tippin in a 1990s disposable camera commercial. Yeah, this is not Aaron Tippin. Who is this dude hugging him here? What the heck? What is this, man? This guy's built like Aaron Tippin, though, so they got his muscles correct, but that's not Aaron Tippin, and this guy isn't either. Look at that camera. That's a huge camera. What's this thing on the top even supposed to do? So this one was a fail. I mean, if it couldn't get George Strait correct, I don't know why I thought it would get Aaron Tippin correct, but it was worth a try. Okay, so now we're gonna move on to some custom ideas I had, just thinking of some country singers also from the 1980s and 1990s era who we did not see in that commercial series that I did. So I just have some ideas written down that I think will be funny. So first off, I have Joe Diffie in a 1990s cereal commercial. The late, great Joe Diffie. Let's see how this one goes. And it's not that great. I mean, this kind of looks like him. It definitely got, like, you know, the hairstyle correct. It's you know, a guy with a mustache. This looks like Mario with a cowboy hat, and he's like crying milk tears for some reason. That's weird. This does not look like Joe Diffie. This looks slightly more like him. This is like a weird Captain Crunch weirdness. And then, you know, Joe Diffie with 2 E's, and it's like weird Fruit Loops, but unfortunately not that accurate. Next idea I have is Brooks and Dunn in a 1990s amusement park advertisement. We got really good results. With Kenny Chesney at a water park, can it do Brooks and Dunn at an amusement park? All right, well, it made sure to give us 2 figures. This definitely isn't them. It does say Brooks and Dunn in correct text here, so that's good. This one is probably the most accurate. It does say Brooks and Dunn in the correct text. This kind of looks like Kix. This kind of looks like Ronnie, but it makes it more like, you know, 70s country singers than 90s singers. This obviously is not them, and this is not them either. But it does say Brooks and Dunn correct every single time, which is kind of surprising. So at least the text is better. Then I'm gonna try and recreate Dwight Yoakam in a fast food advertisement. I don't know who these guys are, but I mean, I guess this one kind of looks like him. And then this is a 4-stack burger or something. Oh my gosh. Dwight, you don't need to be eating all that. My goodness, man. So unfortunately, Dwight Yoakam in a fast food commercial. Nothing doing. Then the last idea I have, we are going to go out with a bang, pun intended, because I'm going to try and do something that's not very PC. We'll see if Bing AI lets me do it. The idea is Travis Tritt and Charlie Daniels in a rifle advertisement. Let's see how this goes. Will it give me permission to do this? It's loading. So this AI has not outlawed images with guns yet so far. And there it is, unsafe image content detected. That's too bad. Let's try hunting instead. Maybe. Hunting has been outlawed too. Let's just go for something that's still outdoorsy. Let's say camping. A camping store or something like that. Let's see how this goes. I just want to see if it can get Travis Tritt and Charlie Daniels in the same image. I just want to see that. And well, it did actually. You know what? This is actually not that bad. It's more modern, so I'm going to try and redo it with 90s in front of it so I can get, you know, younger versions of them. But this is actually pretty good. Travis is looking a little bit more heavy, but I mean, it did create 2 men, one with gray hair, one with brown hair. These are actually pretty good, especially these first 2. I'm kind of surprised. You know what? I'm going to add a 3rd guy. Let's say Travis Tritt and Charlie Daniels and Hank Williams Jr. in a 1990s camping advertisement. 3 guys. Let's see if it can give us all 3 of them. The first attempt was pretty good. That was actually impressive. Yeah, I might have overloaded it. So we have 3 guys who kind of look like the 3 of them, but not totally accurate, but it was worth a shot. I realized I had a typo in the prompt there. Let's try one more time and see what we can get. Bro, this is Bono from U2. What on earth is this? Still not very accurate. None of those ended up being very accurate, and then after I tried to load it again, it just seemed to crash my browser, crash the website, which is too bad. I tried to load it again and then it crashed my browser. So I think that's the end of the experiment for now. So unfortunately, I'm gonna have to end it all there. It's kind of a unceremonious ending, but that was all the ideas I had anyway. What did y'all think of this little experiment and the images that I was able to create using Bing AI? I understand, you know, there's of course tons of concerns, very valid with, you know, the advancement of AI, what jobs it might overtake, but I will say when it comes to the art generation stuff, it is actually quite fascinating what it can come up with, some of which is actually quite realistic, you know, given just a prompt in just, 10 seconds, 10 to 20 seconds to generate a series of images. It is pretty impressive. Which fake ads do y'all think were the best? Which ones were the worst? Which ones surprised you? Let me know in the comments section. Make sure to like this video and subscribe to the channel. If you want to support the channel, make sure to check out my Buy Me a Coffee link. It's in the description, and I will see you guys next time. God bless.